This week's episode of the Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by Menagerie. Enjoy free shipping on some sexy men's lingerie when you use the promo code MANWHORE at buymenagerie.com. That's BYMENAGERIE.com.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to the stranded sluts on lonely islands. This is Billy Persida, and you're listening to the Man Whore Podcast. What's up, everyone? How you doing? Welcome to the show if you're new, and, welcome back if you're not. I am your host, comedian Billy Persida. If this is your first time over here at the podcast, typically I talk to women I've hooked up with about sex and dating and orgies and love. However, this week's guest is not one of my past hookups. No, this week I have got the very funny Dan Soder. Very funny comedian. You may have seen his Comedy Central 1 hour special. You may recognize him from Guy Code or Guy Court. Super funny dude, and I can't wait to share him with y'all in a bit. But first, show dates, people. Yes, okay, tonight, February 22nd, I'm in Philadelphia. Hey, Philly, what's up? Tonight I've got a couple shows. I'm going to be at the Good Comedy Theater at 8:30. It's a show where I think they're going to smoke up all the comedians except for one, and then the audience has to guess which comedian is the sober one, right? And then I'm doing a free stand-up comedy show at Milk Boy South Street at 9:30. Hope to see y'all Philly whores there. Then this Sunday, back in New York City, February 26th, I am at Comedy Fight Club over at Lovecraft Bar on the Lower East Side. That's at 10 p.m. I'll be doing a roast battle against some Asian guy I don't really know. Should be fun. Alex Engelbert, past guest of the podcast and current roommate, she's also doing a roast battle. You can check that out. Then March 9th, I'm at QED in Astoria. March 13th, doing free comedy in Brooklyn at Freddy's Bar. For more information on those show dates and more, head on over to manwhorepod.com/comedy. And while you're over at the website, make sure you sign up for the mailing list, people. That's the best way to stay up to date on all the latest Man Whore Podcast news. It's also how you get entered into sex toy giveaways and things like that. I send out a newsletter every month with lots of things you may not even hear on the podcast, whether they be stories or thoughts about love and my relationship. There's things on there you're going to read that you're never going to hear on the show. So make sure you sign up for that mailing list. New Yorkers, if you are in your 20s and you are single-ish, this Saturday, February 25th, I'm hosting a speed dating event for 20-somethings, okay? It's going to be down on 19th Street. Head on over to onspeeddating.com to get your ticket now. I've already taken a look. A lot of cute people signed up, okay? Head on over to onspeeddating.com. Use the promo code Billy5 at checkout for $5 off your ticket. And that promo code Billy5, okay, that actually works for any event on the website. They do speed dating events here in New York City as well as Los Angeles and Austin, Texas. Again, the website is onspeeddating.com. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Jake on the Isle of Man. Yeah, I gave a shout out to the stranded sluts on lonely islands. It made me think of Penny, previous guest of the podcast. She lives on a very tiny island, down south here in the States. And, there's not many people. It's the type of island where the population's so small, there's like 3 guys on Tinder and you've already fucked 2 of them. It's got to be difficult to get some good old-fashioned casual sex down there. And Jake emails me saying, he's a big fan of the show, lives on the Isle of Man, and that and that hooking up is quite difficult for him. Not necessarily because he doesn't know how to talk to women, just because it's fucking nobody on the island. I mean, the island, so Isle of Man is, as I've learned through Google searches, because I'm a dumb American, is it's in the United Kingdom. It's right next to England. I think it's close enough that he actually can match on Tinder with women who don't even live on his fucking island. How depressing is that? You match with someone, they seem great, you got a lot of chemistry, she's super cute, she's like, come on over here and fuck me. But now you got to take a ferry. I know what that's like. I'm not going to go to Staten Island. It's got to be. So I look up Isle of Man, and it's like population's like 86,000 people. It's difficult. I mean, the capital is a place called Douglas. Douglas isn't even the name of a town on the island. It's just Douglas's house. That's where they do the town hall meetings. You know, it's got to suck to be in a very small place where there aren't personal ads. It's like personal ad singular. Each week in the paper, it's just like that. That's the person looking the fuck that week. So I feel bad for you, Jake. I'm sorry. And if there's anyone else living on the Isle of Man, shoot me an email at manwhorepod@gmail.com. You know, maybe I can link y'all two together. What's fun about the podcast stats is that they give you a breakdown by country, like how many downloads you get per country. So obviously, like my big countries are the United States, Canada, the UK, Australia. What up? But, you know, I can also see these other tiny, smaller countries where there's not like a lot of downloads. Which is fine and understandable. Countries that, but you know, so there are these countries where I've got like hundreds of downloads, which averages out to like, I don't know, 2 or 3 people who maybe listen to this podcast. I would love to hear from those people, because when I heard from Jake, I was like, oh, so that's the person from the Isle of Man downloading the podcast. That's like the one person. So, you know, I want to hear from Jamaica. If you live in Jamaica and you listen to this show, shoot me an email. I want to hear from you. I want to know you exist. I want to know that those downloads are from a real person. Okay, there are only a few days left to get in on this sex toy giveaway. Yes, my friends over at clonawilly.com are giving away a Clone a Willy or Clone a Pussy kit to 2 lucky listeners of the show. And of course, the Clone a Willy is a kit where you make a silicone replica of a penis. If you're going to go on the road and you're sad you can't take your man with you, well, you know what? Make a copy of his cock and take it on the road, baby, okay? Now, you can win your very own Clone a Willy or Clone a Pussy kit. All you have to do is email me at manwhorepod@gmail.com and include either your zip code or your nearest metropolitan area. That's it, and you'll be entered to win. But you got to do it by noon Eastern time on February 28th. That is the deadline I am setting. They're also giving a free kit to one of my patrons. So if you want an additional entry amongst a smaller pool of entrants, pledge as little as $1 at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. And hey, if you're impatient and you just can't wait, or you didn't win and you want to go ahead and get one yourself, go on over to clonawilly.com, use the promo code MANWHORE for 20% off your purchase. And I'll announce the winners on the show in a week or two. Now, I mentioned the Patreon page. Now, one of my favorite rewards that I offer on my Patreon page is 60 seconds of airtime. I will read whatever the fuck you want. If you want to make certain words come out of my face, that is a reward at the $20 level. It can be anything from a favorite passage of yours, gibberish, sincerely held religious beliefs, or you can make me profess my love for you. I will say whatever words you put in front of me for up to 60 seconds. There's a lovely couple who they have pledged together. They go by the A-Team. They have given me some thoughts that they would like to share. I want to say that the following is not personally endorsed by the Billy Procida or the Man Whore podcast, but God damn it, you know, they earned the right to have this airtime. Look, there are many established abbreviations: NSFW, DP, BJ, BDSM, etc. But we don't think they cover the full spectrum of things you need to say. So we're bringing you new terms we've coined. You've heard of WTF, but we've created WTFE, which stands for Who the Fuck Else? As in, WTFE can you talk to about so much of this stuff? We often use it when talking to each other about the lifestyle, but also with lifestyle friends when we're talking about lifestyle activities or thoughts. Because who else can you talk with about these things? Your mother? I think not. WTFE, thank you, the A-Team, for those thoughts. And if you would like to make me read a marriage proposal, your latest slam poetry, or make me calmly read the lyrics to a Meghan Trainor song, head on over to manwhorepod.com, click the Patreon banner on the side, and make a level 4 pledge today. Now for this week's guest, Dan Soder. Dan Soder is a hilarious comedian. I've known him for years. Really funny dude. You've seen him on TV. He's been on the late night shows. He's had a 1 hour special and a half-hour special on Comedy Central. You've seen him on Guy Code and Guy Court. And I sat down and chatted with him about a variety of topics. Dan is sober. So we definitely discussed the difference between his sober dating life and his past drunk dating life. We also discuss a very exclusive dating app for celebrities, as well as what it's like really to date a comedian. And really what's required of an individual who dates one of us severely damaged people. So let's go ahead and get to my guest, Dan Soder.
Let's do it. Let's talk. Oh, shit. Let's talk love.
Well, how's it feel that your love life is the topic of fake news?
I don't believe someone would actually sit down and write it, or as much as it just reads like a computer wrote it. It reads like it was like fill in the blank, like a Mad Lib. Like They just took that and they were like, just put Dan Soder and then change out some of the facts, and we can just. But then some of it was right.
Yeah,
professionally, personally, couldn't be farther off.
I found this new. I just typed in Dan Soder dating on the train ride because I assume that's a popular Google search, and
sure.
Is the number one result was this like weird fake news bloggy type post.
Yeah,
about you like being single now and paparazzi following you.
Which is, here's the thing: is it almost amplifies the polar opposite of me. And the story was like I was dating an actress that's from where I'm from in Colorado, from Aurora, which not true at all. Haven't lived in Aurora since I was 17. And then it said that I moved east to just focus my career on stand-up. And I'm like, no, I've only done stand-up. I've only started acting in the last 3-4 years. So what? Like, what the fuck? I just thought it was hilarious. It's really funny.
It's so weird. But I like that someone thought we need to get a Dan Soder dating thing because that's going to be such a popular Google search. Because at the bottom, it's all those like weird fake news stories that they try to get you to click on for ad dollars. Yeah.
It's always like Susan Boyle is gorgeous. Wait till you see her. And then you're like, they try to get you to click. And you're like, oh, it's not. That's just all advertisements.
It's like, oh, look what Jennifer Hudson looks like now, but it's a picture of Gabourey Sidibe.
Yes, perfect. Or they do the reverse of that, where they're like, Gabourey Sidibe is the most gorgeous person in the world now, and you're like, I almost clicked. Nice try getting me to almost click.
Well, then the number 3 result, on Google for Dan Soder dating after your Twitter was another like one of those weird article bio sites. And, Dan Soder's a very talented personality, great sense of humor, accurate.
Okay.
But then it goes into, but he has not revealed anything about his dating life. There is also no confirmation about his sexual orientation, that either Dan is straight or gay or homosexual. Soder's current relational status is also unknown. And then it goes into how you're not married, but maybe Dan is looking for perfect time to get married, or he might be looking or searching for a perfect spouse to spend his rest of his life. This does seem like a computer wrote it, but in a different language, and then they retranslated it to English. It's so strange.
It's also hilarious. Do you know how out of my way I would have to go in stand-up comedy to keep my sexual orientation a guess? Like most, you watch any of my, I talk about either being broken up with, breaking up with a girl, but it's always like, yeah, I broke up with a girl, and you're like, oh, okay, well, he just said it right there.
Apparently enough people are in the crowd be like, was it a girl?
Yeah, nice beard. Liar.
Well, that's a good time as much as I need to say. I'm sitting right now with very funny comedian Dan Soder.
Thanks.
You've seen him on Conan, Comedy Central's The Half Hour, also, which is apparently your show, according to the news piece.
Well, here's the thing that they fucked up on that fake news story. They said Comedy Central gave me my own show after rating Sword on Guy Code, which they did. I came in as a stop. I came in as a replacement for Julian McCullough. But they said they gave me my own show, and then they're like, the half hour. I'm like, yeah, but if you would have just waited they actually did give me my own hour.
Yeah.
So you could have been right if you would have just aimed at it. Yeah. I don't know. That was just a long way of me also saying I have an hour out. You're like half hour. I'm like, also an hour.
Did a full one. Well, you are dating a gal now, right?
Yes, I am dating a very lovely girl.
And that's fresh.
Yeah, it's 3 months. It's about 2.5 months.
Okay. Where did we meet this one?
Bumble.
Bumble?
Yeah.
Do we like the Bumble over Tinder? Were you on both?
I've only done. I assume you have a lot of. We talked about apps a lot on this podcast, but I did Raya, and then I did Bumble.
What is Raya?
It's a dating app for. Jared Freed called it Illuminati Tinder, and that's the best way.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's like famous people Tinder.
What,
it's like famous people and rich people and
so you have to be like
people.
verified?
You have to apply.
Okay.
And it's a very strict. I don't know if it's strict anymore. I did it. When was it? It's August of 2015. September of 2015.
Okay.
I applied. And then in October, or it was October, and then I met a girl, and we dated for 7 months. So that was
was she a celebrity or just super rich?
No. She was wealthy. She was very wealthy.
Okay.
She came in like she hung in that kind of wealthy scene. But we really got along. She's super funny. She was incredibly smart and gorgeous. So it was like one of those things, but it was just not. I have a bit about it, but it's all that's. The truth is that we were just from two different worlds, and I don't think it was ever going to exist. My schedule, the way my life is, just didn't match up.
Doesn't match up with all the galas she has to attend.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
trying to wear a hoodie to a nice event.
Queens of the Stone Age T-shirts are not always looked. Yeah, it was. But wish her the best. She's a good person.
Yeah.
So I got a really good bit out of it. So there you go.
Can't argue there.
Yeah, I hope she doesn't take offense to the bit. I don't think she will. I never write bits about ex-girlfriends like trying to be mean. I just try to I try to write bits that get the shit out of me, like what's bothering me. I just try to be funny about the shit so it's always like my own insecurities, I think. If a girl dates a comedian and they write a joke about her, it's not trying to be mean. Most of the time it's trying to figure out your own shit inside you.
And it's not even always about like her. I mean, you go on stage.
Well, here's the truth is like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like the truth is that I had this other joke about haunted houses and I couldn't get it into my act regularly. And then I broke up with her and I had this real thing about us breaking up. And then I was like, oh, I can link this to this and I can link this joke to it. And then it becomes this fucking 8-minute bit. And you're like, well, it kills. I love it. I love doing it. I think it's funny. I'm adding stuff to it. And and then my manager saw me do the bit and I'm doing a Netflix half-hour special coming up.
Ah.
I don't know if I think I can announce that. But he saw that bit and he's like, ooh, has she seen it? And I was like, no, it's not mean. He's like, well, it's not mean, but it's a bit about her. And you're like, yeah. So that's what you worry about as a comic when you're dating.
But I mean, sometimes that 10-minute chunk could be amalgamation of like 5 different ex-girlfriends.
Completely.
Yeah.
And that actually it is. There's it's actually an amalgam, and I never remember that word, and I don't even know how to say
amalgamation.
Amalgamation.
I only remember it because comic books, there was like the Amalgam Universe or something from the 90s.
Yeah. It's an amalgamation of 3 girls. 3 girls that I dated. But it's like under the guise of it's a wealthy girl. So then you just, I know this is really breaking the fourth wall for all you comedy fans.
Well, no, I mean,
it really is like, that is how you write a longer chunk it's got to, for me at least, it's got to go together.
Yeah. Like how many minutes can you really write on a 2-month relationship?
Yeah. It was 7. It was 7. What's funny is we broke up and got back together and I had, part of the joke already, and she was like a big fan of it. She's like, I think it's hilarious. Yeah. She had a great sense of humor. So that I don't know. So that's what it's like. I hope her sense of humor is stronger than her pride, and she's not like when the Netflix thing comes out. Like, what the fuck?
Did you ever have doing a bit about like a current or an ex-girlfriend just go horribly wrong once they saw it, like freakouts?
My ex that I was with, the girlfriend before the wealthy girl. We were together a long time, and she watched my hour special on Comedy Central, and I didn't say anything mean about her though, but she was still kind of weird.
As soon as someone hears something that's about them, they automatically get,
Well, what they do is they think the whole room knows. They think the whole world knows. So they think everyone's looking at them like, what did you do to write this bit? But that's not the reality. I think most people understand that it's like based on a tiny bit of reality and then it's all humor.
Right. Well, tell me more about Raya. What was the application process like? Do you have to submit like clips? I mean, what?
Yeah, you got to give them a Conan. You got to give them. No, what happened was you apply, you give them your Instagram name, you give them they look you up on Twitter, and then you have like references. My references were Michael Che and Amy Schumer, two of my friends. So that was a good two references to have. And also, I think, I don't want to blow up their spots, but Che blew it up in Page 6. But both of them were on it. There was a lot of comics on it. Like a lot of I'd sit there on, my cousin got on it. She's a writer in LA. So it's weird because it's like they vet their process, but everyone on there is very attractive. There's a lot of attractive people on there and a lot of, but then there's a lot of like rich girls and rich guys, and it's like I just didn't like it. I met that one girl, we dated for 7 months. I messaged with a couple other girls, and then I was like, I want a real person. I want a real person that like lives a real life, and in a sense of like maybe isn't into the entertainment business, and maybe isn't wealthy and goes to galas
Was a
and
fucking
shit like that.
florist.
Yes.
Just something totally outside of what you. Yeah.
And I totally found one. And I went on Bumble and I just didn't go on any dates. It's the same exact thing that happened on Raya. Her and I matched. We started messaging. She was funny. She was smart immediately. I could go back and forth with her, and it was just easy. And I think she agrees. Just kind of grew out of that.
It's not like a comic or anything.
No, great sense of humor though. She makes me laugh.
Right.
That's very important to me. I've found that out through the years. I'm 33 now. So when I was younger, how old are you?
27.
So when I was 27, it was still like, I want to find the perfect woman. I want to find my heart's got to be singing all the time. Everything's got to be great. I got to want her all the time. I have to, it was unfair because I was lacking the humanity of what a relationship is, where you're just looking for, I'm at 33 now. Like, I want a partner now. I want someone that the girl I'm dating is gorgeous and I'm very attracted to her. But more importantly, time flies by when we're hanging out because it's super easy. And I've been in relationships where the girl is smoking hot and the sex is unbelievable and it crawls.
But the date is
the
taking
time
forever.
Crawls, and that sucks. And that sucks because that will fade. Beauty and sex will fade. And at the core of it is I think with sex you learn new ways to become attracted to each other to keep that going. But I think it can't be the linchpin of the relationship. And I've learning that in my 30s. Now I'm like, okay, who do I just want to be best friends with? Like, who do I want? That's corny, but it's kind of true in a way. Like, who do I just want to fucking kick it with all the time?
Yeah. Fellas, your choice of underwear is important. Hey, I used to not think so either until I found out about Menagerie. This past weekend it was another weekend, another sex party with Billy Procida. My choice in underwear has severely determined what type of compliments I get in an evening. Sometimes it's the deciding factor of if I even get compliments from pretty people. And I get the most compliments when I'm wearing my Menagerie. Menagerie is, as you can tell from the name, it is lingerie for the fellas. But Menagerie is not just about looking sexy, it's about feeling sexy. Never do I feel hotter than when I run my hands down my thighs after putting on my high-waisted lace boxer briefs. You may not know about Menagerie because you're not going to find it at Nordstrom's or Walmart, okay? You got to go to buymenagerie.com. And right now you can enjoy free shipping on your purchase when you use the promo code MANWHORE at checkout. Be sure you to use the promo code. That lets them know that I sent you, and they also give me a little bit of a kickback. Help your favorite whore out and make your man feel sexy by getting him an item by Menagerie. Head on over to BYMENAGERIE.com. Use the promo code MANWHORE at checkout. Menagerie. Don't just look sexy, feel sexy. Now let's get back to the show. I feel like the best first dates for me are the ones like where we're almost like improvising the whole time. Like it's just like joke.
Oh, those are great.
Those are amazing first dates.
Because then you're like, you're fun. You're having fun.
Yeah. But for me, every funny chick I end up on a date with ends up just having no heart or soul.
Yeah, that's where it gets tough. That's where it gets tough. I think that was part of my problem with the wealthy girl is I think she learned how to put up some pretty serious walls, but she was funny. And so I was like, this is great. And then just slam into a wall and you're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the ones who emotionally disconnect.
Yeah, which I'm pretty fucking good at myself, so I can't really criticize.
Well, you still don't drink, right?
No, it'll be 4 years in March.
And do you think that changed anything with your dating style? Or
I mean, dude, it made it possible for me to have relationships. I had one relationship before I quit drinking. That was a 1.5 years, 2 years. Felt like 2 years. Awesome girl. She was 18. I was 23. We dated for 2 years. She was so supportive. I was like a shitty open micer. Oh God, I should buy her a gift basket just whenever I think about that. Because I had a drinking problem. I was doing open mics. She was beautiful and funny. She was an NYU student from the city. Was like so mature. When I met her, I thought she was my age. I thought she was 23. And she was like, on our first date, she's like, I'm 18. I'm like, oh.
But even at 23, you're like, well, I'm so mature. I mean, I'm 23.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm 23. Now I'm 33. I'm like, shut up, dipshit. Yeah, it was the fact that she was able to date me for that long. I always have a great sense of like empathy for that. Of like, man, I was a piece of shit.
Well, what were some of these piece of shits dates looking like?
Oh, I mean, dude, when we finally got in the relationship, when we first started dating, it was, she would come out here. We're in my apartment. That's where we're doing the podcast. I've lived in this apartment 10 years.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
that's amazing.
So she would come and like, I lived in a windowless room on an air mattress, but she just wanted to hang out with me. So we'd hang out. I was waiting tables, doing comedy. She'd come with me to comedy shows. And then about a year in, I was like, I don't think I want to date you anymore. And I broke up with her. And she moved to DC. Well, I broke her heart, which I felt fucking.
Well, what
terrible.
made you come to that decision? She was so great.
I wanted to fuck other people.
It was that simple.
I was 24 and I wanted to fuck other people. That's really what it was. It was like I don't know.
But is that like a product of drinking too much? Or is that just a product of like being 23, 24 in New York City?
But here's the thing, guys. I wasn't treating her good. I wasn't taking her out to dinner. I was a fucking shithead.
Yeah.
I was getting come hang out with us. We're gonna be at this bar, which she would and she loved. And then I stopped having her come hang out, and then I started resenting her for not being able to go home with other women. That's just what it becomes, or it did for me when you're a young shithead. And I felt bad, and finally I felt so bad that I was like, we gotta break up. I'm treating you like shit. And she was aware of it. She said it all the time. She's like, you're a terrible boyfriend. So she moved to DC and kind of found her own. She came back, and it came back like 8 months later. I had been dating other girls or whatever, and then it was like when you find that person when the sex is like so great, and she was like, I'm back, and I'm like, I'm gonna throw this out there. Can we fuck? And she was like, sure. 2 months later, we're back together. And I'm like, but she has an apartment on the east side, and I'm like staying with her a lot. I'm living here, but I sleep at her place a lot. I'm waiting tables. But that's where it even got any worse, because I was out doing comedy till 1 a.m. And then she would be in bed by 11. So I'm stumbling in drunk and like, hey, that was good. Colin Quinn saw my set. It's just shit like that. But she was with me when I got live at Gotham in 2009, and was always so fucking supportive and like sweet. And we still text, we still talk.
Why didn't you guys ever date when you got sober, or when you grew up? I feel like those two things maybe coincided, but
I just don't think it ever timed out, because when I got sober, I met my ex that moved to LA.
Yeah.
And I met her within 2 months of getting sober, and it just, that was a 2-year relationship.
Yeah.
So it was like one of those things where then I broke up with her, and then I got on Raya, and I met.
You're like in and out of relationships like all the time.
Which, by the way, I didn't ever used to be like that.
No?
Never. When I drank, never. When I drank, I would never stay in a relationship. That's why that was such a crazy thing that it lasted that long.
Yeah.
Because 23 to 29 that's 6 years of one relationship, and everything else was just dating and having fun.
One night stands.
And then I got sober, and it's been 2 relationships, and I've dated and hung out with some. I just don't want to go out. I don't like going out anymore. I don't drink. It sucks.
It's like what to do when you go out if you don't drink? Bowling?
Yeah, but also it's like I'm going to be the guy that's trying to get laid. Am I going to be that guy? I'm going to be the guy that's like, "What's up? You want to hang out sometime?" It's like if it happens naturally. I'm lucky that I have a job where women come up and talk to you, and I've had women be like, "Hey, let's." There's been times where women have just offered, and you're like, "Wow, thanks, thank you for thinking I'm that funny," or not even that funny.
Is that how you normally hooked up in your 20s, just like through stand up, or how'd you
very rarely through stand up. It was mostly working at a restaurant.
Really?
Oh, dude, working at a restaurant is it's the most incestuous.
Well, I mean, yeah, fucking like other waitresses. I guess.
Yeah, but then you meet her friends, and then you go out, and then you meet other people, and then you're like your boy that you're closing lunch with is like, yeah, these girls are gonna go hang out. You want to go get beers with us? And you're like, sure. And then it's like a hot girl that you're like, hey, we're gonna fuck? Yeah. Wow. Just kind of like that. It just spreads like that, like a wildfire. The way waiters drink and fuck, it's impressive. They're like pirates. When I quit drinking, it took me a little bit to be like, or when I quit waiting tables, I was like, how am I gonna meet people? Like meet girls? Plus, even
Raya, apparently.
Yeah. Well, that was so quick. That was like, I know other people that are on it that really go for it on there. And
is it like a swipe system, like a
yes,
Tinder?
It's like a heart and an X.
So did you come across anyone that you were like, whoa?
Yeah, multiple celebrities.
Like who were you most blown away? Like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Minka Kelly. I think she must have been on there very briefly. Didn't like me back. I don't want to call these people out. I mean, but they're on, I don't want to call people out on a dating app. But that was the one. She's like the hottest, in my mind, the hottest woman in the world is on a dating app. Legitimately, she's, to me, the gold standard.
Yeah.
Is Minka. She's like the dream girl. She's Lila Garrity. She's like, you just look at her and you're like, oh, you are like your dream girl hot. And so I saw her on that app and I was like, what? That's
Fingers
Derek
crossed.
Jeter's ex-girlfriend. And then it's obviously like she must have just like, yeah, we got one pair in store and it was gone. It's like one of those things.
Saw you and was like, I don't know, maybe I should delete this.
Yeah, she's like, yeesh, they're letting this fucking mongoloid on. I love you. I want you to like me back. Yeah, fuck. But
let me fuck you while wearing my Jeter jersey.
No, I wouldn't even bring him up. I would just have to be as funny as possible. I'd have to compare with Derek Jeter. I would have to kill. I'd have to be on so much. I'd have to like do research on her to know which inside jokes to even take a guess at. She's like, you know me a little too much. Yeah. No,
do you ever think that you're funnier on a first date than on stage?
First
date or meeting?
I mean,
at the bar,
depends
whatever.
on which set on stage and like. Yeah. Best on stage, best first date?
Sure.
No. But best first date, mediocre set on stage? Yeah. I mean, sometimes, yeah. There's been some first dates I've killed. I've walked away like, ooh, I went over the light.
Crushed it.
Yeah. I'm going to stand outside and sell CDs. Yeah, there's been times where there was a time when I was single, I did Knitting Factory, and there was a girl who was like that Minka Kelly kind of look, brown hair, brown eyes, olive skin, and I could see her. I have very bad vision, but she was standing up in the very back, like up on the booths. She was standing at so she was like up, and I just remember like most comedians got shit on in middle school or had like tough middle school. And that's why you developed a sense of humor. And I was always like, had crushes on girls, and I was like, I was never the one that got the girl. I was always the third or fourth friend that was funny that would get the third or fourth friend That's how it worked.
Yeah.
But I always liked like the second hottest girl, and then she'd always be like, "No, Soder, you're like a brother," and I'm like, "I don't want to date Jenny. I want to date you." So that motivates me. It's a weird thing. And so I was just at the knitting factory, and I just saw this hot girl, and it was like one of those sets where I was like, "I'm gonna fucking kill as hard as I can," and just to impress a girl that I probably will never talk to.
The way you were pointing constantly, I thought you were going to say that you called your shot like you pointed into the back of the room.
No.
like the
I'm a comic first. There's no way. And then she disappeared. I went in the back, hung out, watched 2 comics, and then I think she was there with her boyfriend. She was very attractive, and I was like, "Oh yeah, well that makes sense." Yeah.
That's fair. Then you just leave and just justify in your head, be like, "Well, I'm funnier than him." And
but killing in front of a really hot girl you're peacocking.
Yeah, that's our version of it.
Human peacocking.
It's not going to be with a 6-pack.
No, I don't have a 6-pack.
It's going to be with dick jokes. That's what it's going to be.
Just self-degrading stories about why you wouldn't want to date me.
Sure.
That's just find that material, and then they're like, yeah. There was one girl. Yeah, there's never been
one girl. What?
Just one girl was really hot, and she was like, "That's a really really good show," and I was like, I just didn't know what to say to her. I was like, I like your face.
Yeah.
Your face is really nice.
We should touch our faces.
Do you want coffee, food? I fucking blanked. It was at San Francisco Punchline, and I was just like,
Do you talk? Were you ever able to hit on women at bars?
Because I could get drunk, and then I'd be funny. Because my dad was a bartender, so I would end up getting drunk and getting bartender energy.
But sober, just going up to a woman at a bar and talk, why? Why am I going to interrupt her night?
No, you don't want to talk to me. Who the fuck am I to be like, how's your night going? I'm usually just sorry. Yeah, I've never been good. I've had friends my whole life that are very good at just going up to women and enchanting them. Were you good at it?
No, I don't.
Who are these guys that are good at it?
I think these are the same guys who probably couldn't go on stage. They can face rejection one-on-one, but we're fine taking rejection potentially from 100 people, 200 people.
Yeah.
More than that for you.
Sometimes. Very rare. Certain cities.
But one-on-one, I do not want to face rejection. I'd rather have 100 people reject me than just one.
It's so funny because you're right. One pretty person, and I've been rejected like that where they're like, no. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. But whatever. I'm going to have
Yeah, but then you do comedy and you're like, I don't care if these 600 people don't like me. Fuck them. I got to fly home at 7 a.m.
Yeah. No, I don't understand these guys who can just go up to women at bars and just, with that confidence.
So, what are you drinking? Shut up.
It's worse than the pickup, almost as bad as the pickup artists. And
that's the shit that I hated, negging and let them know that you don't care. You're like, fuck you. Don't disrespect them because you're trying to trick them into fucking you. I hated that shit.
It is tricking them into fucking them. I think
that's really what it is. It's a trick fuck. It's a sleight of hand, sleight of dick.
Sleight of dick.
Yeah.
I have an announcement to make. This will be the very last impersonal Patreon thank you roll call. Mourn or rejoice, I am going to announce a new way that I will show appreciation to everyone who financially supports this podcast on Patreon. I will be making that announcement next week. But the reason why we're stopping it is great. It's a great reason because there are now so many of you is becoming disruptive to the show. For the last couple of years, I have been showing that appreciation by reading out the names of everyone who is a current patron. However, now at 70 plus, I think nearly 80 active patrons, and we've had well over 100 over the lifetime of the podcast. Something shorter and briefer will be in place going forward. What is Patreon, Billy? Oh, that's a great question. Patreon's kind of like a monthly fan club subscription meets Kickstarter. It's a great way to support your favorite independent content creators. You pledge a certain amount, you get different rewards depending on how much you pledge. And one of the rewards has been that you get a shout out on the show. I show you my appreciation. Let's just say that instead of an impersonal Patreon thank you roll call in the future, well, it's gonna get a little more personal. So right now, thank you once again so much for new patrons and old. Jennifer C., Texas's own Lance S., Madeline B., Jeff C., Jazz O., all the way from Belgium, Dave K., Justin C., Ramon F., The Sarahs, S and B, Prickly Peach, Lawrence B, Holly F, Greg A, Andrew R, Megan S, Ed B, Anna Super Slut. Thanks for the blowjob. Greg Y, Chris with a K, Sean N, Chris W, Toby T, Lauren M, Alex S, Emily S, Mark G, Alfredo A, Charles A, Kyle R, Scott G, Frank D, Jackie S, Rachel O, Doug R, Millie W, Michael P, Blake B, Daniele G, Stuart A, Jessica K, Johnny S, way to upgrade it, Ashley S, hey, welcome, Peter S, Kenzie B, Heather S, Sarah M, Great Tits, Joshua L, Brian W, Julia F, Double Penetration Danielle, Ashley C, Jeff Z, Raphael R, Derek E, Catherine B, the extremely sexy Lindsay Sin, check her out on the Twitters, Anthony G, Ben W, Chuck G, Todd B, Zilla T, Derek N, Austin E, TQ, Dervla, Scott B, Dylan C, Z, St. James, CJK, Fizzy Pop, Kevin M, Benny K, Steve Dean, Daisy R, Julian D, Jacob S, and Andrew Gerza, your favorite crippled fucker on Twitter. Thank you all so very much for your support, and you too can become an official fan whore for as little as $1 per month. You can alter your pledge at any time. To do so, just go to manwhorepod.com, click the Patreon banner on the side, or you can download the Patreon app and you can find me on there. That's Patreon, Patreon. Gonna announce the restructured rewards next week, but for now, back to Dan Soder. Something else you talk about on stage sometimes is like older women.
I used to talk, my half hour I talked about it.
Although I don't know what age range you would always talk about, so I don't know if right now they're just women to you.
Yeah, they're women now. They're just ladies.
Yeah. Peers.
When I was in my 20s, I loved like a 10-year age difference with the woman being older.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was 23 and she was like 33, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Or if I was, sometimes older. There was like, there was one time when I was like 21 and she was 38, and you're like, it's awesome, great.
Ever get into like close to like mom age difference?
45? No, I haven't gotten mom. Well, I think
like your own mother's age difference.
No, God no. My mom was 35 when she had me, so there was no way. I would like. So when I was 23, my mom was like 58, 59.
Yeah, that might be a little up there.
But I don't think I would have gone north of 42 when I was 21.
I guess for me, it's different because my mom was like 25 when she had me.
Yeah, so it's
when I was 20, like I slept with someone who was like 46, and that's all it took to like reach like mom's age.
Yeah. No, I've never done mom's age.
Yeah. But you find that like older women were better in bed, of course, right?
Better in bed, but also we're talking about bad at hitting on women. I could have conversations with them.
Yeah.
So I could be funny. So I could be charming. Because the women that I learned how to talk to were older women, and they were the best. I have a very, I think a lot of comics do have a very frantic mind where my mind just runs. I can just freak myself out if I just keep mulling over the same thought. And most older women that I messed around with, if it wasn't just like sex, if it was like we'd hang out and have sex, they were always like, calm down, like you're okay. It was always like that older woman, like soothing, maybe like motherly, but in a way of like, hey, the first time I fucked an older woman, I was 21 and she was 38.
Yeah.
And the first two words out of her mouth were slow down. And you're like, oh yeah, okay.
Like in person or in
while we were fucking.
While we were fucking, right.
Yeah, because it was just like, and she's like, no. Slow, build up to that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't want that, but build it up. And you're like, oh, okay. I think it taught me how to be good in bed, was dating older women.
Agreed.
Then you have sex with a younger woman and they're like, whoa. And you're like, yeah, I'll do whatever you need. I'm not here to fucking get an ego about it.
Yeah, if you get your training done in college, I feel like you do much better later on in life.
And there was something I just liked older women. and they liked me, so it was easy. I wasn't getting laid at Arizona. I went to the University of Arizona. I just wasn't getting laid.
And that's hard to do, I feel like, at Arizona.
But I knew how I could get laid. If I'd go to house parties, fucking do blow, and it was all that kind of shit. But it wasn't like real. It was almost like we were talking about with the game, like tricking into sex. But then I started working in radio at 19, and older women were in the office, and you're just like, oh, they want to fuck me. Like, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great.
And even fucking the 19-year-olds, the sex isn't even as good because, like, now you got two people who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'd rather be the one, like, I want to be the apprentice.
Yeah,
I'll take a 42-year-old over her 22-year-old self like any day.
Yeah, because there's just stuff where you're going to be like, oh, you just know what you want. You know how you want it. You know what you're going to implement.
You've got the toys. You have a budget for those toys.
But it really is like those things. You have a house.
Yes.
You have a house.
That's huge.
Oh.
They have no roommates typically.
Oh, it's great.
Or maybe a kid, but I mean.
But that's fine, whatever. But when you wake up and you're like, oh, it's all clean and quiet. Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
As opposed to some fucking 19-year-old's apartment where there's blaring music in the morning. You're like, what is that?
But now you're 33, and the typical thing or the stereotype or whatever is like a dude in his like 30s tries to mess with chicks in their 20s. Is that thing?
The girl I'm dating is in her 20s.
Okay.
Mid to late 20s.
Mid to late 20s. Yeah, but that's still like got a little bit.
It's
of
not. It's not like I went on a date with a 21-year-old, and I was like, nope, nope, like nope. It just can't. She's really mature for her age. Couldn't get over it.
Anytime anytime something happens with like a 19 or 20-year-old, I always reinstitute my ban. I have like a teenage ban. Like no 18, 19-year-olds should be able to drink legally. And like every, I don't know, 8 to 15 months, I'll be like, let's try that again. Nope, this was a bad idea.
We cannot. You can't physically. I don't know. It's just they're still figuring shit out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Sometimes you see a 19-year-old girl and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
They're so hot.
But they're just
like that's
they have they're like the newest Jordans, but with but with bodies. And you're like, oh, look at that. I can't buy a new pair of Jordans. I'm fucking 33.
But like being funny and being on stage and being charismatic in that way, you could get those Jordans, but they don't feel as good as the old Converse.
And I'm just really at the point right now where you just want the thing where you're like, I got it all. I mean, the girl I'm dating has everything that I want. She's
That's great.
Beautiful, smart, and funny, and caring, and like nice. Yeah, and does her own thing. Is super motivated.
She has like real job.
Real job, but like kicking ass.
So she can support. She can be supportive of your stuff, and
she doesn't have to. Yeah, be like, well, I'm freaking out about my money, or has so much money that she's like, I don't care about money.
What is love to you? If you haven't noticed, it's not necessarily a comedy podcast, so it's like I don't always focus on funny questions. But what is that emotion for you?
I think acceptance and empathy and joy. Like I think it's like acceptance both ways. You accept the other person, they accept you. There's empathy, like you try to feel what they're going through, and they try to look at it from your angle. And then joy, like that person just fucking makes you happy. They just make you happy. Sometimes sexual, sometimes spiritual, sometimes sarcastic. Still, I think it can go different levels, but I think those three things really mean love to anybody.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just your sexual partner or your life partner, but friends and,
Do you feel that for the woman you're with now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Already know.
Oh yeah. She's just very wise in a way that makes me feel very comfortable.
Are you the type to feel that like you kind of know early on whether or not
I don't know. I haven't had a really successful one, but yeah, most of the time it's like a vibe of energy, or just like any girl I've dated for more than 3 months have been like, in the beginning, I'm like, Paul, this is going to go somewhere.
Or this is not going to go somewhere, but the sex is good. I'm going to stick around.
But that only lasts a month.
Yeah.
I can't play that card that long. And I tend to end up being very honest and just being like, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. As opposed to, there's guys out there that can keep that going for like a year.
I know you said, drinking got in the way of dating and sex and love and whatnot, but, does comedy still get in the way of that?
Yeah, I think it's very hard to try to be with someone when you're like, all right, I have to go to St. Louis, then Sacramento, then we'll be in LA for 4 days, then we can have dinner.
Yeah.
Then we can have dinner. It's like, the girl I'm dating now hung out a couple times, great dates. Everything's going awesome. I'm like, I'm going away for 12 days. So I'll see you in 12 days.
Mm-hmm.
We still texted and talked and it was fine.
Do you think there's like a certain type of person who's able to date a comedian? Like, are there like attributes of person needs
They have
to have?
be very, they have to be very, I don't want to say confident, secure with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a trust that's like, that you make quickly, but just like, I don't cheat. If I'm with someone, I'm not going to cheat when I'm on the road. I don't like that. But I got to say that pretty quick to let any girl I'm dating know, like, all right, he's not going to fuck around with me when he's on the road.
Right.
But also it's like, hey, if we don't talk, don't think I don't like you. I'm just out. I'm gone.
Yeah.
And so that's like a weird thing. That's a real hard thing to understand.
Find someone who's independent within a relationship.
Yes. There's times where you want to be a better boyfriend. There's girls I've dated where I was like, man, I wish I could have. There was times where I was like, I wish I had a Thursday off just to go to your friend's house party.
Yeah.
But I got 3 spots and I'm working out this new Wolves joke. And I'm like, all right. But what I like is the girl I'm dating now, I'm like, hey, I'm going to take off this day. And she's like, okay, I'll take that day off. Yeah. And I'm like, then let's go out to dinner and watch a movie and have a date night and be a couple. And then let's hang out on, like, we have a day each week, like Sundays. Like, she's a sports fan. So that makes that easy.
That helps. Yeah.
Because you're like, want to come over and watch
Games,
football and we'll have dinner. But then we also go for a walk in between games and, try to make it like a thing. But then there is that, like, it's not just the day. Like, I only see you out to dinner at night. There's also like afternoon in sweatpants. But then I'm gone. And then it's like, I'll see you when I get back. And I will. And there's not, I think the important part of finding someone is, for me at least, is not wanting to hang out with anyone else. I'm always going to probably be sexually attracted to other women. I have a penis. Of course, yeah. We live in a culture where sex is marketable. I'm going to see a girl in a music video and be like, oh, fuck, I want to fuck her. But hanging out with someone else, there's no one I want to hang out with. Like, where you're just like, I just want to, how was your day? I really legitimately want to know how your day was. Yeah. And I always think that's always a good sign. And I've had that, and that happens quick a lot of times with me in relationships, where immediately I'm like, I just want to, what's up? The wealthy girl that I dated, my favorite thing in the world that we would do is just sit in her kitchen and talk about everything. She was intelligent. We talk about Israel and Palestine. We talk about,
oh Christ, you understand that one?
But no, I didn't. But she did.
She did.
But I liked learning about it from her. Right. And asking her questions and being like, well, from what I know, this is this, and she could explain it better. And she worked in the business world in a way that I would never understand. And so my favorite moments were her. Not only was the fact that she's gorgeous and I enjoyed having sex with her, but those moments of hanging out and being funny together, just in her kitchen with takeout food. Yeah. And it was like awesome. That's to me where the relationship's great. A lot of people like where it's fancy dinners and they're dressed up and it's romantic, but it's like, for me, it was like, I like that shit. Like, me and the girl I'm dating now, we play gin rummy. That's just nice. What we do. We just sit around and talk and play gin rummy, but it's like, sounds like 2 old people, but honestly, we get to talk for 4 hours.
Yeah, that's what I want. Nice, long fucking conversation.
And we're talking about everything, and I'm finding out about shit when she was 13. She's finding out shit about me when I was 28. And it's just...
Things from a woman's life when she's 13 are typically not good. I feel like anytime someone divulges to you, this happened when I was 13, it's never a good thing.
I don't want to like call out
no, obviously
with
not,
the girl I'm dating, but like she just lived a very interesting life. She was like a professional athlete at a young age. So it was just like, there's stuff where you're like, oh shit, there's just so much stuff that I want to learn about her. So that's why I like her. That's why I'm like, oh yeah.
Did you teach her gin rummy, or did she already know?
I taught her it.
Okay. I've been trying to teach my girlfriend backgammon.
That's a tough one.
But she gets high anxiety.
Yeah, backgammon's much harder to learn than gin rummy. I've never learned backgammon because it's too, like, it
Maybe
is
I need to downgrade the game.
Go gin rummy.
Go gin rummy.
It's a good dating game. It's a good date. It's a good game to play with who you're dating.
Yeah. Sellers of Catan she can't do. Backgammon gives her anxiety.
Maybe gin rummy first, then backgammon.
Okay.
Walker and slow.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we'll pause these lessons.
Yeah. Like, let's come back to this.
Right. When you said that, the not wanting to hang out with anyone else but still being attracted to other people, I really struck it because, like, for me, at least, like, I'm in an open relationship.
Okay.
And yet I still don't find myself seeking out a bunch of new partners all the time.
No.
Because I'm just like, I like hanging out with this one.
Yeah.
I
think that's really what it comes down to. I think it's been so overblown through marketing that love is supposed to be you and that one person and all you want is that person. I don't think it stays like that, but I think it can get like that. And then I think the more important part is that you just like, that's your person.
Yeah.
That's yeah. And I think you just like talking to them and like hanging out with them, but you still need your space. You need to be your own person.
Right.
You need to be your own person, but also, yeah, because I always know I'm going to date someone when I just hang out with them. I'm like, fuck, we're going to hang out again. I'm going to hang out with you again. Where there's other girls where I've gone on dates with and I'm like, oh, that was good. One more, and then maybe that's it.
Yeah.
When we lose touch,
maybe mediocre sex and then fade out.
Sometimes I've had girls where I've gone on dates with where I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have sex with you and make you feel like I used you. So we're we can just fucking cut it right here.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy.
I try to be decent.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts on, like, if 33-year-old you would tell, I don't know, 27-year-old, just picking a random age that coincides with mine?
I would probably say exercise more, eat better, become comfortable with your body, and don't take everything seriously.
Guys, be comfortable with your body at buymenagerie.com. Use the promo code MANWHORE at checkout with some men's lingerie.
There you go. But that's all. Yeah, that's like, I dated my girlfriend that moved to LA was gorgeous and was so sexually just liberated and free. Not in like a crazy way, but in a way of like, I regretted the way I was closed off when I was dating her.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I would have walked around the house naked more with her, but I was out of shape and I didn't like my body and I didn't like being naked.
But you're not like a big guy. You look like someone who's never been overweight, but
I was sloppy.
Yeah, sloppy.
I was sloppy. I was just eating like shit and I wasn't exercising and it was just loose. I was just not sexy.
Yeah.
And then we broke up and then a year later I tightened up and went to the gym and changed my diet and I was like, man, fuck, I wish I would have done this in the relationship.
Yeah. You even get less horny when you're feeling just gross and full.
Why would anyone want to fuck me?
Yeah.
I go to the gym and there'll be times where I'm like, why am I so horny today? And I'm like, oh, I went to the gym this morning.
And I feel clean.
I feel clean.
I
and
ate some
good.
celery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So that's probably what I'd say is like, I think I was like so worried about finding someone. You're 27. Just fucking hang out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 30. Like, people always say shit changes in your 30s. When I was in my 20s, I was like, I don't think so. And then you get to your 30s, you're like, oh, fuck, they're right. They're absolutely right. Yeah.
I got 3 years left.
All right. Live it up.
All right. Dan, where can people find you if they want to check out your stand-up?
At Dan Soder on Instagram and Twitter, dansoder.com. Coming soon. It's up now, but there's a new website coming soon that's going to be awesome. I'm on the road a lot. And also check me out on The Bonfire on Comedy Central Radio. Sirius XM 95. Me and Big J Okerson do a very fun radio show. And he is one of the funniest people on planet Earth.
Yes, he is. Holy shit.
Yeah, so it's fun.
There's another guy with stories.
Oh man,
fuck.
Yeah. Get him on there.
Okay. And if you want to learn more fake stories about his dating life, just Google Dan Soder dating
Google
and you'll find
a bunch of
weird
fake computer written stories.
All right, Dan. Thanks so much. Feel free to say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everybody. Love is real, right?
Hope you all enjoyed my conversation with Dan Soder. Super funny dude. Again, check out his show, The Bonfire, on Sirius Radio. That's on the Comedy Central channel. You can find out plenty more about Dan Soder at dansoder.com. Follow him on Twitter at Dan Soder. I'm on Twitter as well at TheBillyPresida. Say hello to the both of us. Let us know what you thought about the episode. You can also shoot me an email at manwhorepod@gmail.com with all your comments, your questions, and your booby pictures. Stay close to your favorite man whore by liking the Man Whore Podcast on Facebook and subscribing to the Man Whore Podcast subreddit. Over on there, you can join the conversation with your fellow fan whores. There are individual comment threads on every episode. I also like to post links to articles that I've been quoted in and exclusive pictures, and I even like to ask you questions from time to time. For all you Redditors, that's r/Man Whore Podcast. Enjoy hours upon hours of bonus episodes by becoming a level 2 or higher fan whore on Patreon. It's the best way to support me and the work that I am doing here with this show. Become an official fan whore today over at patreon.com/Man Whore Podcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/Man Whore Podcast. But as always, the best gift you can give me is by giving me a referral to your friends. Help me by growing this podcast and sharing the link on Facebook, on Twitter, on the social media of your choice. Next week, I'm very excited. I have a guest who I have been quoting and talking about his book for years. And finally, I've got him on the podcast. I can finally release his episode. I recorded it months ago. Very excited to share it with you. Got John Berger, the author of Dateonomics. Because according to him, hey ladies, it's not you, it's the ratio. We'll get into it next week, but until then, stay slutty.